And it drives me to work even harder to build something truly great, not just for myself, but to give back to those who have supported me, including yourself. That's a beautiful thing. And that's a great motivating force. He writes, what advice would you give me or even your younger self when it comes to starting and scaling businesses? Something beyond what you've already shared in your courses and conferences. Number one, I would say that you're going to be successful, which is to say there's no need to be fearful because you're going to win. Like you're going to win. That's number one. You operate with a different spirit and a different intensity and a different comfort, like stress-free when you know you're going to win. So that's number one, you're going to win. Then the second thing I would say is remove all vice. When you are living a life devoid of vice, it's so much easier to win. If you don't drink, you have extra money. If you don't drink, you never get a DUI, you never get tickets, you never wake up with a hangover and lose hours of productivity. If you don't have vices, you're not laying down with filthy women, you don't end up in the clinic. You don't end up with baby mama drama. You don't end up getting your tires slashed. When you don't have vice, you don't end up with less money than you could use because you gambled it all away, or you did something frivolous with it because you're not thrifty. So remove all vice, which is the most challenging thing to young men. Young men have very high active libido. They have a lack of experience and wisdom, so they're more prone to make foolish decisions. They're capricious. So live without vice. Number one, you're going to win. Number two, live without vice. Number three, specializing is the key. Pick one product. Get really good at the product. Pick it in an industry that is future-oriented. Establish a quality product and then move on to establishing a strong brand. Scale it until you saturated the market, which will probably never happen. What do I mean? For example, I had one student who I will not name, who has he's done maybe 5 products. He's done maybe 5 products. He had one product that was very successful, and then he started another product. Don't do that. When you get that one product that's very successful, that is called a W. You won, nigga. You won. Why are you still creating new products? What he should have done at that point is figured out, okay, this thing is selling. How do I make sure that everyone that I meet or I would ever see has this product? How do I make sure that everyone in America has this product? How do I make sure that everyone in the world has this product? People love it. How do I make them love it more? But instead of doing that, instead of getting obsessed with that one great product that people love and are buying, he started a new product. Simplicity and oneness. Focus on one product. Saturate the market with it. Get really good at that. And when you do, you're going to become a specialist. And when you have specialized skills and knowledge, you're going to find that your value as a human being, as a business person, will let you do other things that are unrelated to that product at some point. I'll give you an example of what I mean. In my software business, which if I could do it all again, I would not run such a complex software business. We had software on mobile, so we were native on mobile. We had web applications, consumer facing our team and facing school administration. Then we had hardware. And eventually I actually had to create a freaking factory abroad, manufacture my own hardware devices, and have the firmware programmed on site and then send them off to our end users. It was extremely complex. But because I did all of that and I was so focused on just that, there was an industry, there's a specific vertical where that expertise is valued. And the breadth of knowledge that I had as a businessman in that business, now people would say, oh, hey, I want to do this and this in the, in the Bluetooth space, or I want to do this in the real-time indoor location space. What do you think? And I could tell them oh yeah, that's not going to work. Actually, we used to try that. We use this particular device and this device doesn't have enough range to do what you want, or this kind of building due to the material in these walls, it's not going to work very well. And okay, there's a partition here, but that's not a real wall because it's only like 3 inches thick and your signal is going to go through there. So you're going to get bleed. So now I can be a consultant just on that. I don't have to do the work anymore. I can advise people on the work. So there's so many benefits to focusing. The way modern economies are organized is around specialty. You don't get paid for being a generalist. You get paid for being a specialist, which is why surgeons are also doctors. So are general medicine or family medicine doctors, but surgeons get paid a lot more. They're specialists. They do things that a lot of people can't do or don't understand. So specialize in something that matters and something that is future oriented. Future oriented. I feel like yelling that 5 more times because people are always dealing with things that are going to die. For example, lip balm, never going to die. You guys are going to have dry lips every day. Okay, cool. So there's that. But then, so this is not going anywhere. There may be different ways to do this, but chapped lips aren't going anywhere. But newspapers are dead, right? Like you don't want to become great at making newspapers. That's dead. You don't want to become great at doing things that will not exist in the future. So you should be asking yourself, what's relevant today? What's relevant tomorrow? What's here today, but it'll probably be gone tomorrow? Let me avoid that. The things that are going to be important tomorrow, you want to ask yourself, can I actually get in that game specifically? So for example, getting internet to all the peoples in the various, far reaches of the earth is going to be increasingly a growing business. Starlink is in there right now. There's also a major Chinese competitor. So getting internet to people who are in rural Africa, rural India, remote parts of Europe, remote parts of fill in the blank place. Okay, cool. So that's an important business. Then I would ask myself, am I sophisticated enough to deal with satellites and all the things that are necessary to do that business? No. Okay. Well, if I'm not, then I should probably try to figure out how can I be an accessory to that business? How can I create accessories for that business? If Starlink requires you to have this little mini satellite thing and you might have to travel with it, how can I create the best hard case for that satellite? Or how can I create a soft case that you actually don't have to take the satellite out? How can I make things waterproof? How can I create something that supports that future oriented business? Do you understand? If I can't do the actual internet, how can I create a product that supports that internet? Or how can I, call up Starlink and say, hey guys, I've had Starlink and I called your customer service and it's terrible. If you're willing, I would love to have you outsource your customer service for this product to me because I've developed all of this infrastructure and materials and I can get a team on this and get this done for you. And we can run a contract. And if they're like, yes, fantastic. If they're like, no, I can still do it. I can literally offer a premium customer service for their product that has nothing to do with them without their permission. So there's so many different things that you can do if you're savvy and experienced. And if you're not savvy and experienced, you better ask somebody. Or open up an LLC or a proper corporation, and then you be the first employee. And instead of capturing 30% of the deals that you do, you capture 100%. That would instantly take you from earning $500,000 to earning 1.5 million, even with taxes. And you'd also be in a better tax situation because you can now use strategy because you're taking in your income through an entity as opposed to being an individual. But the fact is, as a grown man, if you are that competent to be paid at the $500,000 mark, you can definitely move that up. There's so many different ways to do it. And the 3 that I've identified are just a couple. There you go. Conference 3 footage. It goes through that negotiation piece. Highly recommend that.